Hello guys, in the episode of the Review Pro today, we're going to check out the top 5 best power supplies in 2019. And if you want to see the price, and find out more information about these power supplies, you can check out the link in the description below. Also make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with the latest video reviews. Okay, so let's get started with video. Starting at number 5, we have the Seasonic Focus Plus 750. The Seasonic Focus Plus 750 is a quality, yet reasonably priced 750-watt power supply. That would be a really good option for everyone who wants to purchase a reliable power supply without spending hundreds of dollars. From a design perspective, this unit has a compact, mainly dark gray, finished construction that is followed by golden accents that are noticed throughout its body. While on the front, you can find the power switch and a push button that enables the semi-passive mode on or off. On the sides, there's the Seasonic logo along with 2 decals, and a fully modular panel with up to 11 sockets. So when you see it as a whole, it looks indeed pretty good. Moving on, this unit is armed with a 120mm fluid dynamic bearing fan as well. That outputs up to 2200 rotations per minute. But what's interesting about it is that SDB fans are well known for their durability if you compare it with the sleeve-bearing fans, so you shouldn't worry about anything. Since we are talking about the fan, I'd also like to mention that this PSU has 3-phase thermal controls such as the Fabulous mode, silent mode, and cooling mode, which is pretty cool. Since this PSU is doing a great job and balancing the silence with the cooling performance. Moving on, this unit is suitable for every ADX cases due to its compactness. And if you have such PC cases, you shouldn't be thinking twice, because once you get this PSU, you can instantly feel that your PC case as well as your system won't have a heat at all. I would also like to add that the manufacturer claims that this PSU is power efficient, and as you can see, it has a gold certification which guarantees 8790 and 87% efficiency, and operating loads that start from 2050 and 100 respectively, which means that your electricity bills will never be high. To conclude, I strongly recommend you consider the Seasonic Focus Plus 750 because it combines an attractive design and price with a reliable performance that is virtually equivalent with most of the mid-range price PSU. Next up at number 4, we have the Silverstone Technology SFX 550. The Silverstone Technology SFX 550W is an exceptionally compact power supply. It's specifically designed to fit inside small cases, while ensuring a consistent power supply with silent operation. So if you've been looking for such a PSU, then you found it. Design-wise, this PSU measures 125mm in width, 63.5mm in height, 100mm in depth, and weighs only 1.1 kilograms. So from the very beginning, you already know that it can fit even in the smallest cases that you can find on the market. If you view from the rear, you can notice that this part of the construction is nicely vented and has a honeycomb pattern that occupies a great space of the surface. But let's not forget that the corners of the PCB are located deeply at the inside and are protected with a plastic shield, which I find it very useful, since you will never have any issues with the mounting screws. Moving on, the SFX 550 comes with an 80mm fan, which output speeds up to 3800 rotations per minute, according to the information we've received. I would also like to mention that the fan is running silently in both idle and high loading conditions, or if you want the numbers, the manufacturer rated at 18 decibels. Speaking of the cables and connectors, I'd like to mention that the number of SATA connectors in the 4-pin is relatively low, considering the fact that we are talking about a 550-watt PSU. But this is nothing to be surprised if due to the fact that this is a small power supply that has no modular cables. So it is perfectly understandable for me. Finally, the FX 550 features a wide range of protections as well, including overcurrent, overvoltage, short circuit, overvoltage and overtemperature. So the only thing that lacks is the undervoltage protection, but for the price you pay, it is still well protected, so you shouldn't stress about anything. To conclude, the Silverstone Technology SFX 550W deserves your attention, so give it a try and assure yourself of its potential. At number 3, we have the Thermaltake Smart RGB 700W. The Thermaltake Smart RGB 700W is a fantastic RGB 700 watt power supply. That would be a great option for every gamer who wants to drastically improve the performance and the look of its gaming rig for a price that is suitable for everyone's budget. This model has an all-black construction that is accompanied by large vents that will do a really good job in promoting an airflow. But you can also see a 120mm sleeve-bearing fan that is armed with a translucent blade, which will not only ensure a proper cooling, but it will also glow in your preferred lights, which is definitely a nice touch. Speaking of the wires and the cables, I'd like to inform you that the cables are color-coded and they're easy to bend and they're long enough to stretch inside the full towers with a proper cable management routes, while the wires themselves are asleep. So for this part, one can only say that the cable work is satisfying. Another great thing about this PSU is it have 80+ certification, which as you may already know ensures an efficient energy use in your system with 87 to 86% efficiency, at 20 to 100% load. Moving on the tests we've seen and according to the information we've received, this PSU can provide a constant 700 watt power at 40 Celsius degrees. And for your information, this unit is designed to work efficiently with Intel's latest 7th generation Kaby Lake processors. So if you have one, then you can pair it without any problem. Now, since it is an RGB PSU, let's briefly explain what choices you'll have. The Thermaltake Smart RGB 700W is armed with 10 LED light bulbs that will drastically improve your gaming ambient, since all of the bulbs are capable of producing 15 color effects and a 256 colors RGB cycle. So for the price you pay, having such things is undoubtedly an amazing thing. Overall, you should definitely consider the Thermaltake Smart RGB 700W as your next purchase because it is affordable, has 700 watts of power, and has an RGB lighting that will drastically enrich the beauty of your PC case. At number 2, we have the Corsair M750X. Corsair is a computer part manufacturer that always makes sure to provide value and quality, and I can easily say that they did exactly that with this product. To start, the Corsair M750X ships in an attractive yellow accented box with a high-resolution image of the power supply visible in the center. The power supply is protected inside a soft felt back. The Corsair M750X power supply is a rather simple-looking, inoffensive and attractively finished power supply. The ERB750X branding is visible on the side panels. It measures 150mm in width by 86mm in height and 180mm in length. What I personally like the most about this power supply is its actually build quality and its stability. I've never ran into any problems with it, and it seems to protect the device well when power outages happen. Most of the PSU out there are very loud, especially when they start to get older. This isn't the case with the Corsair M750X, because it's very quiet and they won't distract you or anyone else which is in the room. This can be achieved by using the 0 RPM fan mode, which will basically make it silent on low and medium loads. Another great thing about this PSU is that installing it is very easy, since you can mount the power supply in the case first and then attach only the cables you need. If you consider its features and the quality, I can say that it has a pretty reasonable price, which is definitely worth it. There are similar PSU in this price range, which don't give you as much power or stability as the RM750X, so that's a good thing to note. If you ever decide to purchase this PSU, I would highly recommend you that only use the provided cables, if you don't want to damage the PSU, because there have been some reports from people that they used a different set of cables to connect it, and it resulted in a broken computer. Overall, if you decide to go with this product, I would say that it will be a solid decision. If you've never built a computer before, you will love this PSU, because it's extremely easy to install and use. And finally at number 1, we have the Corsair AX1600i. After several hours of testing and comparing it to some other power supplies, we think that there is not even a single PSU which can compete with the AX1600i. It has remained as one of the best suits out there for several years, and it's still holding the throne. Corsair is using their usual yellow-black artwork for the packaging of the AX1600i, with the only major difference compared to the packaging of less powerful models being the massive size of the box. The box is very strong, and should provide ample shipping protection, and inside we found the power supply well protected between thick foam padding. This is a very important thing, because power supplies can get damaged very easily while transporting. So a tight packaging is very important. The Corsair AX1600i is a fully modular design, and all of its cables come neatly organized in a rolled-up storage pouch. All of the connectors and wires are black. Corsair's big milestone with the AX1600i switching from silicon to gallium nitride fats. Due to their extremely low gate charge and output capacitance, gun fats can be switched at extremely high speeds with reduced switching losses and improved efficiency compared to silicon ones. A notable thing about this power supply is that, during our tests, it delivered its full power even at 45 degrees Celsius. This PSU also has a huge capacity, which can be found on the average PSU sold on the local stores. If you can afford its hefty price tag and need this much power, the AX1600i is the perfect choice. Many of you will argue that it is expensive, but it just packed so much technology internally and this spot great build quality to boot, which makes me believe that it is well worth its high price tag. After all, it isn't as expensive as a high-end graphics card, and given that a PSU life cycle is much longer, I personally don't find it to be overpriced, and I would highly recommend it to everyone that is looking for a PSU that will let them do anything they want with their PC. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you found it helpful, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the next episode. If you have any questions related to these products, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.